Rink, Vancouver. Pre-game, post-game, every game presented by Bodog. From sports odds to free casino games, make a play at Bodog.net. Wadden and JPat here with you with another edition of the pregame as the Canucks look to right the ship. They got to do it at some point, JPat, with the Carolina Hurricanes coming to town.
Yeah, but more injury woes, more trouble. When it rains, it pours. You may have heard that in Vancouver, but they had to play without Quinn Hughes the other night. Now Brock Boeser on the shelf. He's listed as day-to-day, but Hughes isn't going to play again. Guillaume Brisebois is back up and is going to get plugged right into the lineup. And oh yeah, they're facing the Carolina team that's 3-1-1, has a ton of speed, ton of skill up front, and lost in overtime the other night in Calgary. As they wrap up a 5-game Western road trip, they're going to want to get it right before they head on home. And of course, you know the storyline in this city. The Vancouver Canucks still looking for that first win of the season. It's not going to be easy tonight.
Yeah, the lone NHL team without a win this year. Winless in 6 now for the Canucks, and a 5-1 loss on opening night on home ice. JPat, how do they respond from that fiasco?
I think that's the biggest question for me is, look, they may lose to a better Carolina team. That happens. Carolina's going to beat a bunch of teams over the course of the season, but how do the Vancouver Canucks respond? They got booed off the ice, jerseys thrown on the ice. People are frying a Canuck jersey on a barbecue. I saw that on social media. That's how bad it is. 6 games into the season, people are frying up Canuck jerseys on the barbie already. So to me, it's, yes, they need to win some hockey games, obviously. It may not happen tonight, but what do they look like? What is their response? Do they look like they care? Because honestly, in that third period, I'm not so sure. You heard the president of hockey operations on the post-game after hours talking about floating the idea of a rebuild. You have the coach telling the players to take a long, hard look in the mirror. Again, this is 6 games into the season. They are winless. And that third period, quite frankly, unacceptable. And this is the crazy thing to me now. And I was looking at this, and look, we've done a post-game show after each of the 6 games. We've watched the games. We've seen it. And yet it's still hard to comprehend that the Vancouver Canucks have been outscored 13-1 in third periods this season.
That's just absolutely brutal. Now, we didn't get a whole lot from the morning skate this morning. However, there was some line shuffling yesterday at practice. Looks like perhaps JT Miller going to be shifted to the wing.
Yeah, and it does feel like it's time for something here to change because what they've been rolling out hasn't been working. And I know the outset of the season, the Canucks believed that one of their biggest strength was the big 3 down the middle, Horvat, Miller, and Paterson. And here we are 6 games into the season. Horvat and Miller have assisted on 1 goal apiece, and it was the same goal. It was Andrei Kuzmenko's power play goal in Edmonton on opening night. And since then, not a helper from Miller, not a helper from Horvat. And so that wasn't working as 3 down the middle. Now you've got Horvat and Miller perhaps playing together tonight. So I don't know if that's going to lead to a lot of offense. We'll find out, I suppose. But something had to change. Based on their Sunday practice at the very least, it looked like Miller and Horvat were going to get a chance to play with Ilya Mikheyev, who's been relatively quiet in his first 3 games, coming off a knee injury. I understand it, but a big offseason signing. They wanted to see this, the burst of speed. And I'm not sure that we've seen a ton of that. So maybe he's not at mid-season form just yet, but you hope that he can get there and use that speed to back off defenders and create some space for others to operate. So we'll see what happens with Boeser out. Nils Höglander, who was a paper transaction the other night, didn't play. Höglander comes back in, replaces Boeser essentially. That's the only personnel move up front. And of course, we mentioned Guillaume Brisebois as well, drawing in on defense in place of Noah Juulsen the other night. But when you look at the top end guys, whether it's Miller, whether it's Horvat, whether it's Elias Pettersson, Kuzmenko's gone 5 without a goal, something's got to give here. This team needs to find a way to just be engaged. And as I said, that's what I'm going to look for in this hockey game tonight is what kind of start do they have? Do they have that passion and that fire and the energy? Because certainly there was enough passion in the market the other night afterwards, but not the kind of passion that this organization is looking for right here, right now, this early in the season.
A lot of firepower up front for the Canes, including Andrei Svechnikov, who's red hot right now. 6 goals already this season.
Yeah, he is a beast, a man-child, if you will, still young by NHL standards, but truly a power forward. And there's a reason he was taken 2nd overall. Big-time shooter as well. The Oilers saw that the other night. He had a hat-trick in Edmonton. He's already got 6 goals on the season. So he is certainly somebody that the Vancouver Canucks are going to have to be wary of. And how do they match up? Whether it's a forward line that tries to slow down a guy like Svechnikov, or what do they do on defense? Because the way it's looking, it's going to be the veterans, OEL and Tyler Myers, Then you get Jack Rathbone playing his second game of the season paired with Kyle Burrows and perhaps a third pairing of Guillaume Brisebois and Luke Shen. So really interested to see what the Canucks do in terms of a defensive posture, but there is no doubt that on their whiteboard at Rogers Arena this morning, they've got Andrei Svechnikov circled 8 points already, and 6 of them are goals.
You might want to circle this, my Bodog best bet. I'm 4-2 on the year. I'm making you some money, and this is what I got for tonight. The first period score, 1-1, I'm predicting. That'll be plus 500, so great value there. I see a little bit of a low-scoring affair here, at least through the first period. We'll see how it ends up through 60 or perhaps even more. All right, JPat, everybody loves this point of the pregame. It's when you tell us who needs to do something, and tell you, buddy, there's a lot of candidates on the Canucks that need to do something in this game.
Oh, this is incredible, Andrew, because this is game number 7, so we've had a do something candidate for the first 6, and I feel like we've come full circle. Like, we have laid it at the feet of all of the Canucks' big guns, and nothing. Still looking for that first win of the season, so I don't think there's any question. We talked about them earlier. Line changes here, some line juggling, perhaps a message being sent. Whatever the case, Luke Shen was barking at him the other night. He is in the center of all of this, and it's got to be JT Miller. It is time. It is so far past time now for him to really be the spark plug that he can be for this Vancouver Canuck Hockey Club, and if he thinks he's going to get back to anywhere close to 99 points, well, he's not off to that kind of start that's going to put him on that pace. He has only 3 points in the 6 games, and in fact, all 3 of those points came in the first 3 games of the season, so he's gone 3 now without a point. And as we said, there's just been a lot of noise, a lot of chatter around JT Miller. He is one of the leaders of this hockey club, and he has to play and act that way as well. So for all of those reasons, I'm looking at JT Miller. It's go time. JT Miller has to do something to help the Canucks get that first win of the season.
See JT Miller cursing in the media once again. Oh, JT not too happy about his play as of late. Do you agree with JPat? Do you think JT Miller needs to do something? Who else do you think needs to do something from the Canucks? Leave it in the comments below. Be sure to get the post-game podcast as quick as we can after the final horn. You can find us on all your favorite podcast platforms. All right, JPat, the Canucks just looking for one. They just want one win. They got to get the monkey off their back. See if they can do it tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes at home. This has been another edition of the Rink Wide Vancouver pregame show. For Jeff Paterson, I'm Andrew Wadden. Remember, Rink Wide is the show that always scores.